Hey everyone, Carnivore Kurt here, and on this video we're going to be talking about how you can clean your ChiliCube or your Ooler sleep system, and really what goes into the process of maintaining and keeping these systems tick-tock and really operating very well. So let's take a look at what we're going to do with this thing. This is my Ooler Cube right here. This is the cleaning solution that you're going to need, and we'll walk through the steps and the recommendations that they make within their company website. So for those of you who have had a Chili and Ooler system, I know they have the Dock Pro. Personally, when it first came out, I saw some bugs and I was a little bit apprehensive to kind of get fully invested into it. I have had the 8 Sleep, which has worked well, but I've put videos together to compare those, and personally it hasn't been my favorite in terms of the overall features that I like the most when it comes to a sleep system. You can check out my review video on that. But for this video particularly, I want to talk about the actual cleaning process, and I'm going to cut to their website and show you guys a few things here on the screen that you can see as it relates to what we have with this. So when you go to the Chili's website, they are now branded as sleep.me. You can see here they have information on the top here under sleep.me/system cleaner tips. And if you come down here, you're going to see that they have the Dock Pro maintenance, they have the semi-annual, the monthly, and then if you come down, you'll get to the Ooler section where they have the actual Ooler maintenance, and they have the Ooler monthly maintenance as well as their kind of biannual where you do it twice a year, every 6 months. And so the first thing they recommend is that you use one of these solutions for each of your units every month. Personally, I think that's a little excessive. I'm not recommending you don't do their recommendation, but I like to pinch pennies where I can. And I just think as far as using something like this, you're paying $8, let's see here, $6 for each one of these packets. That means if you do this once a month for 2 cubes, you're gonna be paying $12 a month just to maintain your system. Now, it could be worth it in the long run. I really don't know fully the extent to the maintenance, but personally, I've had my Ooler system for well over 2 years now, and I haven't maintained it once. Not recommending that, but I would say, in my experience, it hasn't been a huge deal, and I think you can get away with a little less maintenance if you just flush the system. And then maybe, this is something we have to dig into further in the future videos possibly, using some sort of peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, the way that you do with the 8 Sleep system, where they add about a teaspoon of it for every load of water that you add. So again, side tangent there. We're here to talk about how to maintain this unit directly with Chili's recommendation and Sleep ME's recommendation. So let's get to it. And what you'll notice is the first thing they recommend is that annually, like I said before, you're going to do a $6 packet here that you can get on Amazon or on their website into the solution, into the actual system, and flush and run that with the solution. There's a lot of stuff in this thing, by the way. It has octalate, decalate, methylate, ammonium chloride. It's got several things of ammonium chloride, essentially. So, you know, it doesn't look like a huge percentage of it's that, but it is in there. And so you want to be careful in terms of getting this in the wrong hands of someone, right? This is pretty toxic stuff. But essentially what you're going to do is, if we come down to the actual biannual process here, this is where things get more of what we're talking about as far as what we want to be doing with the maintenance here. And I'm going to walk you through this on the video when I go up and actually do this with one of my units. But essentially you're going to unplug the unit, you're going to pull out the back connection, you're going to drain the unit, you're going to wipe it down. You can also blow dry it or use some kind of forced air, and that's just kind of a preference thing if you want to do that. And then before you place it back in position, you're going to then fill it with distilled water and use one of the cleaning solutions. So again, drain the system. Also, that means taking the topper off the bed and draining the topper, and then essentially kind of blowing it and drying it, wiping it down, and then putting a new fresh distilled water in there along with one of these packets and running it. It says running it for about an hour, and then you're going to have it set to where it's going to go. So let's jump into my bedroom and let's see how we're actually going to physically do this with the actual units. All right, y'all. So as you can see here, I've got my 2 Oolers down here on the floor, and I'm disconnecting the connections here. You're going to have the power connect here, the power itself. This is the water connect. I said power connect. And essentially at this point, we just have to drain these bad boys and get them to a point where there's no water in them. And I can tell you right now, if you look at this thing, it's pretty gnarly in there. So it's going to be quite the experience actually doing this, but let's get to it. All right, I got a rag here to wipe this thing down. I took the lid off, the top lid off of this one. Now, Chili recommends that you do not turn it upside down. So we're kind of in a tough spot here where you have to hit these plugs, and I've found it kind of tricky. So really what you can do is you can push this in, and you're gonna see it kind of dribbles out, and you just kind of tilt it, right? And that's about as good as you're gonna get as far as draining this thing. So hopefully you can see that in the video. I'm literally just pushing this knob in. Now they come with like a plug connector when you first buy this thing, where you can actually just push this in and it will release the water, but unfortunately I don't know where I put that, and now I'm just seeing this like kind of gross water flow out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flush this twice. So I haven't done this in a while, and I'm looking at the water here, and it's quite not clean. And we have our second one here. And again, just draining this thing out. You know, wipe it down. Be careful you don't get it super wet while you're draining it out. So now that I've got the chili pads cleaned out, the Ooler Cubes cleaned out, and I've actually got them updated for what I'm looking to do, the next step for me is really just going to be to fill these up with distilled water, which I'm 90% sure I have that. Just some like kind of dollar thing of distilled water, right? This is just water boiled, evaporated, and condensed back down. So it's treated a little differently than like filtered water. You can find these at like CVS or your local grocery store. They'll sell them by the gallon for like $1. And then fill this water in there with the solution, and that should be good. Plug it back in, run the system. I'm gonna drain the actual topper as well. So that'll be the plan. I'll get this thing drained. I'll put the solution packets in here after I get this thing drained, and then just get it filled up with distilled water and get it running. And then at that point, we'll be in really good shape. By the way, this might be a good time to flip your mattress and rotate it 180 degrees. They recommend it usually about every, I think, 90 days. So if you're doing this now, my guess is you probably don't do it that often, and it could be good for your mattress longevity and your sleep. Okay, so solution going in. Be careful with this stuff. There's some chemicals in here, ammonium chloride, which you don't want to definitely get in your eyes, or, you know, have someone take it who doesn't belong here. Okay. Yeah, it definitely smells kind of like bleach or some kind of cleaning chemical. Okay, wipe off any chemical excess here. And now what we're gonna do is just fill these bad boys up while we're running. Perfect. Both of those are great. And there you have it. On their website, they recommend letting these run, and you'll want to do that. And then you can shut them off when you're done. So back to the main part of the video. And there you have it. That's exactly what you need to be doing on a biannual basis, on a semi-annual basis. And if you have any other questions or you want to learn more about these products, check out my review videos. They'll help you as well. But it's super simple. Just go in there and drain the system, get the water out of it. Go ahead and put in the new water that's distilled with the solution packet, and then just run it and let it kind of flush itself out. And then you kind of just check in once a month and apply these per their recommendation. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thanks for the support, and I will see you on the next one.